Let me just jump in with a baseball question for you,
Yeah.
Bob Costas, as Aaron Judge. If you remember that old Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny was at first base, second base, third base, and scored every run and made every hit for his team? That's what it looks like Aaron Judge currently is for the New York Yankees. And he's now one ahead, if you will, of the pace of Rodger Maris through the number of games that the Yankees have currently played, 54 home runs. So I ask you, Bob, the question that is burning amongst all baseball fans, certainly in New York, based on the fact that there is Bonds in front of him, clearly, and others, McGuire and Sosa, would you consider Aaron Judge, if he breaks Maris's record, the single-season home run king in the history of baseball? Bob Costas.
The authentic single-season home run
Yes, sir.
king. Yes. And for now, Rodger Maris is the authentic single-season home run king, just as Henry Aaron is the authentic career home run king. Now, both of those records are held by Barry Bonds, and you have to stipulate this. Barry Bonds, on his natural merits, was one of the greatest all-round players of any era, an elite inner-circle Hall of Famer. But anyone with half a brain can look at the change, not just the obvious change in his body, but the change, the quantum change in his statistics, Hall of Fame statistics as they were, between the beginning of his career, which was, enough to have a good idea, 13, 14 seasons, and then the late 90s through the first several years of the 2000s. That was more of a cartoon than Bugs Bunny, which you referred to earlier. And the same was true of Sosa and McGuire and others, but Bonds was the best of all of them to begin with the possible exception of a healthy Ken Griffey Jr. as a contemporary. He was the best of all of them and then took it to the highest possible level, and he's the one who holds the record. So we're not singling him out because we don't like Barry Bonds. In fact, even though some members of the media didn't get along with him, I always got along with him until I pointed these things out, and then he felt less kindly toward me, but I think we've patched it up since. So it has nothing to do with that. It's just obviously true. So statistically and officially, Barry Bonds holds both those records, and 73 is unreachable. But in the minds of many reasonable people, if Aaron Judge hits 62 or more, he will be the authentic single-season record holder.
And what he's doing right now, again, is a reminder of what the V in MVP stands for.
That's
Most
right.
valuable player, because the Yankees have just totally fallen apart offensively over the last several weeks, and Judge just keeps on keeping on, and he's now homered in 3 straight games. He scored every run for the Yankees in their weekend series against the Rays and pulled one out against Tampa to try and hold on to a once-upon-a-time 15-and-a-half-game lead that's now down to 5 games. I mean, he has been valuable, but Ohtani hit 2 more home runs, and we know he's that unicorn. Where do you stand on that MVP conversation, Bob?
I think it's clear that Aaron Judge is this year's MVP. Ohtani is an historic player, and he was the MVP last year. And if he keeps doing this, he'll be in contention for the MVP almost every year. If Judge were having merely what would be considered your average, if there is such a thing, MVP season on a contending team, then you could make a case for Ohtani, even though the trapdoor opened on the Angels sometime in May and they haven't been in contention ever since. But given that stark difference, and given the fact that Judge is having an historic season of his own, if the term MVP is going to mean anything at all, then Judge is this year's MVP. But unless he gets hurt, Ohtani will probably add additional MVPs to the one he won last year.